Hi, my name is Zia.
I'm Peter. We're the Dandy Warhols. Half of the Dandy Warhols.
Half of the Dandy Warhols. Where's the other half?
We're splitting up for publicity, the little publicity tour, and we got lucky. We got to come to Amsterdam. And
Yeah, they're in Cologne. And a gorgeous day in Amsterdam, too.
The new album is coming out. We've all been waiting for a while. It often takes you a little time to get
We've been waiting for a while, too.
How come?
It just takes that long to get it done, I guess. That's just how long it takes us.
Yeah. We have to put down so many different tracks to figure out what the right ones are and to come up with a finished product.
How come it takes you so long, you think?
Well, definitely we do take it very seriously. And if it's not right, if it's not working for some reason, sometimes the answer isn't just easily available and you have to search around for it. That and, writing songs isn't really an easy thing. It's, especially when, to make it perfect.
Coming up with jams is easy, but committing something to a record is very difficult to say, okay, it's done. Yeah. Go before I change my mind.
No, it's. I think it's funny that you say that because some of your stuff sounds really effortless, like it's supposed to be that way, you know?
We did a good job then. Fooled you.
It shouldn't sound difficult. It shouldn't sound hard or whatever, or awkward. It should sound completely natural. And to make it sound completely natural is very difficult. It's like a lot of times, you'll get a little burst, you'll get a few words, and then you'll get a bunch of other ones that express the right idea, but they're not the right words. They don't make the song flow. Or, same with, like, guitar melody or something, a little guitar line. If the note's not quite right, it's not going to do it, and you have to just fiddle around with it until it is.
And once it does come, it does feel natural. Sometimes you do a part, and you just went, oh, okay. That's done. And sometimes that doesn't happen. But once it's there, it's there because it feels natural. So if it feels natural on the record, that's because we achieved our goal.
Hey, a lot of people know you from a couple of really, really catchy songs. Does it ever bother you that a lot of people think that's all the Dandy Warhols are about?
No, it doesn't bother me. I want as many people as possible to find out that that's not what we're all about and to have our records and enjoy them. And they're catchy, and that's what's on the radio is catchy songs. So we just happen to not be just catchy songs. That's just how it works.
And when we're writing and recording songs for the record, we think that every song is that song. It's the next big single. This one's gonna be huge. And that's, while we're working on it. In the end, when it, the dust settles, there's an obvious, single. There always just is. And of course, if we ran the world and the radio stations, then every single one of our songs would be huge and it would be singles and be played on the radio.
And I don't think anybody would mind. I think they would love it to hear all of our songs. I think they're good enough. Seriously. They're good songs.
Hey, is there a sort of recipe to the perfect song for you guys?
No, there's elements that I think need to be consistent throughout the music. Kind of simple repetitiveness, not being too tricky, being honest, I think Courtney's lyrics are incredibly honest, and I think that really comes through in the music. Yeah, those things, basically. Everything else, you can do whatever you want. Just keep it real and keep it simple.
Personally, I was completely satisfied just playing shows in Portland. Having a great time. Great. It didn't matter that much to me, to do anything else. And for Courtney, obviously, it meant a lot to go out and do the rest of it. And as soon as I got a taste, of course, I wanted more. So. And I think a lot of people are just happy and staying in Portland. It's easy.
Yeah, it's rewarding in its own right. It's just, I think we started to not want to have second jobs and to see how far it could go. Like, we can make a living off doing this now, and that's really nice to just be able to do what we love and make a living.
But it's not like you guys started making music and making this kind of music as a sort of reaction to sort of the boredom of your background, or is that
It was an intense reaction to the boredom of the post-grunge time where really nothing was going on. Certainly nothing glamorous or sexy. And yeah, I think that what we are is an intense reaction to that and to where we live. But not to any boredom. I mean, I think our lives were pretty full and interesting. Except that their music was lacking in Portland.
Yeah, definitely.
How important is sort of the glamour and the sexiness in your work?
Well, it's important. I mean, it's a part of our scene, you know, being sexy and looking cool and having smart conversation and nice lighting. It's a whole environment that we seek out, and getting to have our music on during that is a big part of it, or getting to play and be a part of that environment is huge. So yeah, sexiness is important.
Yeah, but I mean, you also, by some serious press, got slagged for that, you know, for having a... How do you feel about that?
Just a way to put us down. Just whatever.
You don't care?
Don't care.
No way. When you're having a great time and someone's mad at you about it or tries to say mean things to you, how much does it really affect you? You just kind of look at them going, what's your problem? You know, we're clearly having a good time and not hurting anybody, and actually contributing to the art world with these good records. You know, so of course it didn't bother us. We were just like, whatever, you little weirdos. Go live your life where you just try to talk mean about people. They can't possibly be having that much fun.
You guys are very popular in England too, right?
Yeah, we do great there.
And how about the US? Because I wonder how...
Moderate, we're an underground band. Yeah, I like our scene, and it's a real solid following, but by the American standards of record sales and stuff, we're an underground band with moderate success.
You still have a really fresh sound, you know? I just wonder, like, oh God, that must be hard to sort of maintain that during the years and during knowing each other for so long.
It's a necessity.
Yeah. I mean, if it didn't sound fresh, natural to us, it wouldn't have come out. We'd still be in the studio trying to make it fresh and natural.
Hey, tell me about how you worked in the studio on this one.
God, every day for a year and a half, we go down to the studio and try and do something, record a bunch, get rid of a bunch more stuff, start again, have somebody else come in and help out.
Yeah, something that was different was it felt like in the other records we all four were in the studio together most of the time. And this one, there was a lot more when there was four people, when the whole band was there, it was a party. All the friends would be there too, and not as much stuff would get done. We would just listen to what we did so far and talk about ideas, and once in a while record something. So really, the bulk of the work got done when it was like me and Pete and Brian Coates, or you and Brent and Courtney, and we all were in the studio by ourselves. I mean, this was the first record where I ever just kind of demanded a day to myself to try and get some work done. So that was a new thing, and I think it was good. It seemed to be a productive way to work.
Have you discovered any like new instruments or new sounds for this one?
And other than keyboards or different kinds of keyboards?
Yeah, different kinds of keyboards.
Oh yeah, I used a bunch of different keyboards this time. I mean, before all I'd ever used was the Korg MS-20 that I have done all the bass on, and then 2 different kinds of Moogs. So this time we used the Nord, one of the Nords. Whichever one it is, you know, who cares?
There was the mini Moog.
That mini Moog, that broken, cheap piece of shit keyboard from the Goodwill.
Yeah,
from a thrift store.
For like $5. It's got broken keys, and when you hold notes down, it wavers and goes just in and out of tune.
What song is that on?
It's Rock Bottom.
Yeah, Rock Bottom. So that was on there. That was really fun. Did we ever use the MS-2000? Oh yeah, Juno 105. Yeah, so we used a bunch of different keyboards this time, more than we ever have. And we had fun with different percussive instruments, and I sang a little more than I usually do. Did
you guys disagree a lot while making this?
No more than usual.
No? How do you deal with it? Like who
You just, you leave and come back when everybody else isn't there and do it anyway. And then, you know, at the end, when you're mixing, it's like, it's right, you know. Stuff just happens. The song goes a certain direction, and no matter how much you were attached to a certain part, it becomes non-important just because it doesn't work.
But are you a democracy, or how should I see it?
To an extent. Democracy, and then I guess ultimately Courtney would have veto power. But we all have such similar tastes and such the same goal that it doesn't really come down to that. I mean, we usually can work everything out because we end up agreeing. Once you get your point across, usually once you're all, usually the only problem is a communication breakdown if you can't get your point across. But once you realize what you're all saying, we're usually saying the same thing. So it's not that. And if you really can't agree, you just deal. You just cool off. It's not that big of a deal.
I mean, that must be pretty special.
Oh yeah, it's rare. We have a rare way that we function, and we're really lucky. And I don't know how most bands survive. From all the behind the musics that I've watched, I really don't know how most bands ever got through it because they're so messed up. I mean, granted that behind the music is a little exaggerated. You still can tell that there's a lot of shit going on.
Hey, what strikes me about the Dandy Warhols, with like almost every other band, you can sort of place them in a certain scene or in a certain group where at least us pop journalists like to fit in bands.
And
but with you guys,
likes to, and the label likes to, and even some listeners like to do that. We just don't, and I'm glad of it because we're our own special thing without any direct competition of being in a group like that, a category. We're just us. It's nice.
This album was also produced by Nick Rhodes. Can you tell me about that?
Nick was a fantastic keyboard player, and it started with us wanting him to, add some of his textures on the song The Last High, and came back and we were like, wow, this is amazing. So we sent him more stuff and went over there and did some more drum takes and vocal takes and had Simon sing on Plan A and had Nile Rodgers play guitar on Scientist. And by the end of all that, it's like co-producing is just felt right.
You talk about it so casually, but you must have been like, well, this is kind of cool, or...
Of course, but I mean, it's like there's, it's like when it comes down to it, it's just, they're just people. Yeah. But yeah, of course, at first you're blown away that this is a possibility, and wait, no, it's happening. Ah,
jumping around, acting like goofballs, of course.
Yeah.
We tend to do that like, I don't know, at least once a month, if not once a week.
Jump around like goofball?
Yeah, because of some crazy thing that you never would have possibly imagined, is happening. It's always like that. There's always something else. It's amazing.
So what was the last thing that like totally blew you away?
Well, Jesus Christ, Meltdown with Bowie. That's one for the history books of rock and roll history legendary nights for me. Well, he was curating a arts festival type thing. The Meltdown Festival, right? And we were doing the last night of it, playing before Bowie. And so we were playing for an hour and 20 minutes, and of course we were like, we've got to do something special. We can't just do a rock show to all these, really cool people sitting down in a theater. So we wanted to do just a really psychedelic show where we played, I think for the whole hour and 20 minutes, we did 3 songs. It was a continuous groove and a continuous trip, and it was the perfect thing to open up for Bowie. When he played, we got to play with him and do White Light, White Heat, which was just a historical moment. I mean, to be standing on stage playing the tambourine and have Bowie come up and give you a big hug, it's just like unreal. And with, Bono in the audience and Robert Smith and Brian Eno, and, it was out of hand. And the Duran Duran guys and everyone was there. It was so cool. It was just so cool.
I think that would be a good one to end it with. Thank you.
It's been the best one. We've been using that one for a while now as our way to run our, structure our lives.